Yeah, I feel a lot better too. And it's like truth serum. That's the problem. Like, I can't unsee now.
Well, not only that, but I like almost every day I'm learning something about carnivore or learning from somebody else's carnivore experience.
And what are you learning?
You sent me some good videos, like by far. The last one, I'm like maybe one third into it about the dolphins, and they're experimenting on dolphins and stuff.
Yeah.
But the one before that you sent me was it's a short video, and he's like really ruthless about it. But he said one phrase which I love. If you saw an animal that's fat and obese in the wild, you would think that animal is just dying and you're going to put it out of its misery. Every human's like that. And now I'm looking at humans like that. Like,
Right.
that's something wrong with that human.
No, and you sent me that video, about mineralization, about how to fatten a cow up, they just stop giving it minerals. And it triggers the signal in the brain, overeat. That was scary because it makes me wonder, is there a good mineral supplement that we should be taking?
I'm on the same train of thought there because they're like, this cow has this mineral pellet and has all these minerals in it, like whatever minerals that are needed to grow the cow healthy. There's the same thing with humans, but you got to look it up, and maybe they do have mineral supplements. Maybe this mineral water we drink has the minerals, or maybe the salt we're eating with all of our meat and eggs has the minerals that we need. Maybe
Especially, the good salts, Celtic salt, Redmond salt, insert your favorite brand here. Um, the trouble that I think we're running into is we are not able to reach what most people would probably call like clinical dosage or therapeutic dosage. Because most of the time when I look at these things, what people claim as a like therapeutic dose of a thing is really just another way of saying the optimal level you should probably have versus an RDA version, which is if you get any less than this, you will absolutely get sick. So there, the difference in the viewpoint there. It's like if you have any less than this number over here, you get sick. So the RDA number is like one click over that. However, optimal health is like if you eat 10 times that much.
Well, because supposedly too much salt, minerals, is going to give you kidney stones.
And a host of other things. And it also is an interesting thing about the balance because just all those videos you sent me on copper made me realize that the zinc copper thing, and then I squirrel away from that because, then you start looking at magnesium and all these other ones that there's an actual optimal balance to them all. It's hard to know because there's so many people that only focus on one thing, like the zinc copper ratio. But when you start having enough zinc and copper in your system, and there's other mechanisms.
There's like 92 essential minerals that our body needs or something.
Right.
Because, so we need to be healthy, and not just healthy, but optimal, right? Thriving. We need minerals, and we need calories in form of protein.
And fat. Yeah.
Those three main things. Because, if we don't have enough, let's say, fat, we're going to be hungry. If we don't have enough minerals, we're going to be hungry.
And there's also a lot of, other than hunger, fat has, there's essential fatty acids that you need for cognitive functioning.
Well, like cholesterol, like nutrients in fat.
Yeah, right.
Whatever is part of fat, we need that.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about avocado fat or vegetable or like almond fat, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about animal fat, specifically beef, or anything that eats grass.
Right.
Ruminant.
Ruminant animals really are, that's the hard thing that I'm learning is, ruminant animals are superior in a lot of different ways, not just how they break down food and turn the food they eat into actual.
How they build them, yeah, their bodies.
Right. But, when they graze, they're able to extract, because pigs don't graze.
No, yeah.
Chickens don't graze. Chickens don't eat grass and get minerals, anything other than what they're fed in their feed. I mean, a wild chicken would.
Well, wild chicken's supposed to eat bugs and worms and basically anything that has meat on it or
Bugs.
protein.
Well, they are omnivores because they will also eat. They love vegetables. They love pecking.
Well, yeah, I've seen them. I've thrown my chickens the watermelon and stuff and corn and
Yeah.
they would eat all that.
No, they're total omnivores.
Well, so then they're similar to pigs. Honestly, I've never looked at a stomach of a chicken to see like the intestine length compared to everything else.
The main thing about a ruminant animal versus most of the other ones.
Omnivores, I guess you could call them, because a pig is an omnivore.
Oh, yeah.
It could eat pretty much anything, just like people. We could pretty much eat anything.
Right, and the main difference is it's a single shoot, mouth to anus.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I
Okay,
see.
where-
Omnivores.
Where a ruminant animal specifically has, I think it's like 3 or 4 stomachs, depending on which one you're talking about.
Sure.
Some have 3, some have 4, and they go through phases of processing the,
So from everything we've learned so far, that is the optimal meat is
grass-fed beef.
well, a creature that eats grass. I mean, technically, we're just vegans, just second-tier vegans, though.
And specifically, because there are other like vegetarian animals that eat grass, but they're not ruminants. And we forgot to do that.
Yeah, we did forget. Yeah. Now it looks right.
They're not ruminants. Like gorillas are vegetarians.
Right?
Right. But we don't eat gorilla.
No.
That's right, because we don't eat other carnivores.
Because I know their stomach's very different. Yeah, exactly. We don't eat carnivores.
Right, we don't eat dogs, we don't eat cats.
Like, okay, bear. People eat bear.
Yeah.
Right? But they complain about it. It's very gamey.
It's greasy. It's super greasy. It's kind of gross.
But, okay, then speaking of bears, like I was telling you, the whole, like, you take, how can I say it? Like an image or an example from the wild. If you see a wild animal that's obese, you're going to want to kill it to put it out of its misery, right? Like bear specifically. Where did I hear this? I don't remember where I heard this. It was one of the videos we saw. Either you sent it to me or I sent it to you. And it was the bears eat berries at the end of the season to specifically fatten themselves up to prepare for hibernation.
And they eat the combination of the salmon. They eat a ton of overall calories.
Sure. With the berries. Of course,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. You need the berries to fatten yourself up. Yeah, but they need to eat salmon for the calories and the berries to fatten themselves up, basically,
Right.
because the calories or the berries will rise to insulin. Insulin prevent them from losing the fat.
And you think about it, there are no pigs aren't even really fat. That's the crazy part. Wild boar, wild pig,
Right? I was thinking the same thing.
Dude,
I wanted to bring that up because
they're ripped.
Yeah, right. Wild boars, you don't want to mess with those
Not
things. Yeah.
at all.
Because if you see the farm pigs, those things are just chunky, just fat little sausage there.
Yeah.
A beast of a fat sausage. But yeah, the boars, those, and they eat the same shit though. Like the wild boars, they eat everything like roots and everything.
Yeah, but they're out eating it off the ground.
Yeah.
It's not just slop in
Exactly.
in a
tray.
right. And they're also able to run around. That reminds me. Did I send you the video about the addiction in mice? I'll recap it really quick because I think it really plays along in this too. They give mice in captivity water that's spiked with like a drug like cocaine.
Okay.
And the rat or mouse will sit there and just, that's all it does. Eat, drink the cocaine water.
Sure.
However, they take the same mouse, same water choice, and they always give them like water and cocaine water. So they actually have a choice. But then they build the mouse what they referred to as like mouse utopia. Lots of things for the mouse to do and play and other mice to interact with. And guess what they do? They don't drink the cocaine water. Like they specifically avoid it because they have other things to do. And I think one of the reasons we're also seeing this rise in obesity and in, everywhere. I mean, I know it's getting bad here in America, but it's not just here. There's, I think India is the worst diabetes place.
Exactly. They don't really have much obesity as we have here, but they have diabetes.
Right.
They have other health issues due to a high carb diet.
And what I'm starting to realize is, like take me, for example. I go from my home, which is a little box. I usually go to my car, which is an even smaller box, drive my little box to work, and I spend all day in that box.
Yeah, the amount of movement you do is very minimal to nothing.
Right. And it's kind of crazy, but it's been linked to longevity, specifically the social interactions, the one-on-one with your friends and groups of people. And as we've isolated ourselves more and more, I mean, it feels like we're getting connected because we can do like a Zoom call or a FaceTime call on our phones. And it feels like we're
We
having...
never do those. We send videos to each other.
No, right. But I'm saying one of the biggest things that all these not overweight creatures still have in their natural environment besides their foods, they aren't getting isolated with technology. And I'm not going to dive into
Like
that.
boar, for example, you're talking about. Or the mice example you gave me.
Yeah.
So the boar, because the pigs in captivity are huge, enormous pigs. The boars, but I bet you the boars don't eat as much either. They have a lot less calories. Plus, remember, physical activity, how it affects insulin, insulin sensitivity, and then just let's go back to the calorie usage of the activity. So I think those three on the wild boar versus the stationary pig that's out of the farm, I think that'd be a huge difference. So you would probably, but then again, if you were more active, if you were more social, you would probably eat less.
And that's really what I was trying to get at with that example with the mice is the mice still drink water and they still eat food, but when they have stimulation for their mind, they tend to make better choices.
Oh, yeah.
People who are bored and have nothing to do but sit on their couch and play video games are not going to then all of a sudden make the optimal choice to eat right or exercise either.
But even then, we're talking about really interesting things about, let's say, comparing a wild boar to a farm pig.
Right.
But even, let's say, you want to be that wild boar, the food choices here, without really knowing how bad everything is for you, there's just almost nothing out there that you could actually eat that's like, unless, I guess, if you make your stuff from scratch. Like, even the flour you get is terrible.
Yeah, no, there are hardly any, and even the best food choices here aren't ideal. We're really just, at this point, we're just doing the best we can with what we've got.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, I feel lucky that, the Costco that we happen to live nearby actually has a really good selection of grass-fed beef. And I'm very fortunate that I've found a group of people that raise their own chickens.
For the eggs.
For the
specifically.
eggs. Yep. And then I have a little local grocery store or two that kind of cater to some of these specialty things. So if I do decide I wanted to get some raw cheese or something like that,
Yep, yep.
But then the rest of it, like I keep looking at these ingredients and I'm just going, why, like ingredients? It's starting to seem really strange to me. It like ingredients. It's bizarre.
I know. Think about it. Like we don't think about it. Like ingredients in food. What do you mean ingredients?
Right. Isn't
Like-
it just food?
Yeah, isn't it just food? Why do you need ingredients? But then even if you just get the regular bread off the shelf, it has a whole list of ingredients, right? It's just bread. What's the ingredient? Bread? No.
Right. And that's bizarre,
Or just any cured meat.
or almost anything, period.
Yeah.
Like literally walk through the aisles of the supermarket in your mind and think of what does not have ingredients.
Like, how about you just eat a food that only has one ingredient? I guess then, that's like vegetables,
fruits
fruits,
and meats.
meat, egg, cheese, nope.
Nope.
Butter, I mean, that's kind of processed, right? Butter, you process it. You process the milk to get the butter. But that's only really one ingredient.
Unless it has salt, and then it's two.
Yeah. But we're going to add salt either way.
Right.
So, I mean, what else is there that has one ingredient?
So there are certain things, condiments or
Spices.
spices. You can get flour. That's just flour. You can get unenriched, just flour.
Fascinating. Okay, I
so
haven't
grains,
seen that.
Grains.
Yeah.
You can just
I mean, nuts, I guess.
Well, we're gonna throw, whole vegetables.
Yeah.
Or anything plant material is, and I'm not saying that so olive oil is one ingredient.
But who just eats vegetables for veg? Nobody does that. They cook it, mix it, and fry it, and stir it. And
However, even if you do that, if you take your own list of things, like you want to make,
stir fry.
yeah, okay, right, stir fry, and you want to add some garlic, some onion,
Well, that's still a million times better than what you get at the store that's pre-made.
right.
The ingredient list itself.
And then if you were to buy like a prepackaged stir fry, one that's
What I'm saying. Yeah.
one that's already made and seasoned and everything else, and it's just like, wow, there's a lot of stuff.
Why?
in there.
It's like, why? We all know why, because it needs to sit there on the shelf for a long time, and it needs to be addictive.
Right, and I think that addiction plays. That's exactly why I was bringing up those rats, because they get addicted to the drugs in the water, right?
Yeah.
But when they have other stuff to do, they choose not to drink the water. They choose to go have fun. Like, whatever.
Speaking of like tests in mice and rats, has anybody done a test just feeding them meat? Just beef?
I don't know that mice are carnivores. I think they're omnivores as well. I think they eat.
Yeah, but I mean, humans are supposedly omnivores, but we're thriving on eating beef.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to my fourth steak here in a minute.
Well, that's the thing. Steak, like when you're eating steak, how much ingredients are there?
2.
Salt, right?
Yep.
We salt it.
Beef
That's
and
it.
salt.
And then the salt is again for minerals, right?
No, I'm just doing it for the taste.
Well, but the
Yeah.
taste, your taste is because of the minerals. It's not. I'm telling you, like salt is one of those things that is for the mineral taste.
Right.
Not sugar. Sugar is like, you could say the same thing, like salt and sugar, right? But I think they're in a different category.
No, sugar is for the
Like
the
addiction,
dopamine.
the dopamine. Yeah, exactly. It's the hit. It tastes interesting too, but ultimately it's for the dopamine, because when you eat salt, you eat the salt, right? You taste it. Okay, it's pretty good. Makes the things more flavorful. And that's it. You're done. But the sugar, it tastes very interesting, and then it hits you with the dopamine
Right. No,
rush.
and then you consume tons of it.
Exactly.
Like,
Salt, exactly. You can't do that on salt.
no, I get if I have too much salt on food, it starts to give you that funny lip feeling. But you ever done that, like eating chips or popcorn?
Oh yeah.
And the salt just starts getting
But
to
it
be too
only
much.
does that with that garbage when we eat. We eat carbs with salt. But if you eat meat, I can't do that meat.
No, because it tastes funny
Yeah.
when I have that much salt, and I've done it on the meat a couple of times, only on accident, where I like oversalted it.
But with the junk food, you could, like you said, I know exactly what you're talking about. Where you could
No,
overeat the salt.
the thing never tastes bad. The meat tasted bad. When I got the meat too salty, it was like, okay, I got to either throw some scrambled eggs in this, or
Right.
something to dilute the
Dilute the salt. Yeah, exactly. Well, now think about it. If you put carbs, which is sugar, and you don't taste the sugar as much as you get the high off the sugar with like chips. When you add the sugar, you could eat a lot of salt.
Oh,
Way
yeah.
more salt than you should be eating, because with the meat, like you said, you add a little too much. That said, you can't really eat it. It's too much already. Like, it's overdose, and I just need just enough.
right.
But with the when you're adding carbs into it, it's too much. You can't eat it.
Hardly.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you,
no.
you could overeat it too much.
No, I know what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like just if it's
You don't know when to stop.
if it's too salty, just throw some more sugar on it. It'll balance out.
That's the thing. I think because they kind of look similar, salt and sugar. People think they're kind of like the opposite of each other, but I think it's not even close. It's a completely different element.
Well, first of all, salt is really a mineral. Salt all by itself is a mineral.
Yes, absolutely.
And it is non-caloric. Excuse me.
Oh, that's true. That's another one. Yes, there's no calories in it. Sugar, it's pure calories. That's a very good point. So you can't even compare those. But then again, like, what would the third one be? Pepper, or pepper is just a spice?
Yeah, pepper is just a plant that
Because pepper would be a plant. Yeah, paper.
Since we're going down, what are your thoughts on adding back? Because I know you've talked a little bit about maybe in the future adding fruits back into your diet, or some more dairy or whatever, little things like that. What are your thoughts on garlic, thyme, oregano? What are you thinking about? Because it's not then like pure carnivore, but the ratio of your carnivore to you're not when you season with like rosemary on lamb,
Sure.
okay, you wouldn't add much, maybe just a little bit
Yeah, but supposedly that seasoning, the reason it gives you that little ting or whatever flavor it gives you, it's the toxins reacting. Right? That's one thing. Second thing, the whole garlic, because I stopped. When I started, I did the whole, like, it was a mix of a bunch of seasonings, and because I loved it, it tasted good. Now, it actually doesn't taste that good anymore. It was kind of mind-blowing, because I
Interesting.
stopped using it. I'm like, let me try it again. And it was not the same. Like, my taste changed. Now I'm like, I'm just going with salt. That is the best I could have. So it's very fascinating. Anyways, the thing about garlic. Garlic is, hold that thought. Garlic is, remember, it's almost a medicine. And if your body builds an immune to it, or when you eat a lot of garlic, it's like, people eat garlic all the time with everything. When you actually need to use it as medicine, it will not have the same effect. So that's my thing about garlic. That's kind of why I don't want to add garlic. I don't want to add thyme in the food.
Thiamine?
Thyme.
Thiamine, I like that.
Thiamine. I don't know what
Can I
thiamine
get
is.
some
It's a
vitamin thiamine?
new thing. Yeah. Why were you giggling when I was saying about the mixture of?
So, I don't know, like a week ago, I decided I wanted to see what a little garlic powder and onion powder, and I forget what I had it on. What did I have it on? Anyways, I was curious.
Sure.
And so I used it, and this is what's funny. I've used a plain garlic and onion powder many times in the past to season probably every cut
Everything.
of meat.
Yeah.
Every cut of meat.
Same. Absolutely.
So first of all, it tasted okay, but I agree with you that it tasted different.
Yeah.
But what was crazy, because I don't know, what was crazy was it annoyed, like my smell after eating it really hit my wife in a negative way.
Your body smell.
I mean,
Or-
it wasn't like my body odor because I had just eaten it, but
Oh.
you know, like my point is like I've had a steak with garlic and onion and pepper on it hundreds of times, and I've had something bubbly to drink and had a burp, and it never, the scent of it all, you know, the cooking and everything didn't offend my partner. But you know, when I wear cologne or you wear cologne, even though it's similar, it's not the same. Our body's chemistry reacts with these volatile.
And we almost don't notice it versus the other person.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the the fascinating part for me is that after I ate it, she was like, "You got to get away from me."
Fascinating.
Yeah. She was like, "You."
What reaction happened in your body or in your mouth that had that effect?
Yeah, I'm really curious myself. Just like, not actually curious enough because it wasn't good enough. Like I
To
wasn't
keep
like,
doing, right?
Right.
It wasn't like you added the garlic and the onion powder. You're like, dang, this is delicious. It was like,
Right.
oh, okay, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was. But before going, like, because I did salt for a long time, like for 2 months. And then I went back to this. I did it in, I did my steak in a air fryer instead of doing it on the barbecue. I did it in the air fryer, and I did the steak or the seasoning because it's a lot stronger. Because every time I salt my steaks, it's never enough. I have to, I like cover in salt, and then when I eat it, I salt more.
Right.
So I don't know what it is, but it's never. But if I use that seasoning, it's usually enough salt. So I tried it, and then I'm like, you know what? It's not that great. Because at first I remember I tried just doing salt. I'm like, I can't just do salt. No, I had to do that seasoning. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm actually just perfectly fine with the salt. I don't need that seasoning.
Right.
It's not like, again, I'm not holding myself back. It's just like I almost prefer just the salt.
Right.
It's the weirdest thing.
It is really weird. Yeah. That's why I keep saying it's like truth serum. When I can't unsee stuff again. You know? I don't know how else to describe it. It's almost like a phenomenon you have to experience. I don't know how you would describe. I know from listening to you that you're experiencing the same thing, but I don't know how to describe it very well. For when I say it's like truth serum, it's I look at the store or something that other people are eating, and I'm not being judgmental. Because I've 45 years, I ate all the same stuff.
I was right there where they
Right.
were.
This
Exactly.
is, and I honestly, I mean, you sent me a lot of videos. I had seen the video from Jordan Peterson before you ever sent me videos. And you talking to me about it wasn't the thing. There was like something.
Exactly. And that's the key. It has to be something else. You know the information, but there needs to be that final connection.
Yeah.
And it has to be made for you your personal mind or whatever you want to call
Right.
it.
But, I just walk around and I see all these things and I drive by Taco Bell and I drive by, people eating all these things. And I'm just like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that scene in The Matrix when the girl is eating the cake and the guy looks at her and he just makes that comment, it's all just chemicals. She eats the cake and all the chemicals change in her body. And it's like, I wanted to shake people like, you have the choice what altering your chemicals you do.
But okay, I can't blame people though, because like you said, we were there.
Oh, yeah.
For many years, right? We're just barely on this journey of ours. And when starting this journey, I think you and I were both like, I don't know if we could really do 90 days. Let's try 90 days, see where we're at, and see if we could even, how can I say it, continue, or we want let's start adding stuff in. But it's been so freaking great that I don't want to add anything in. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know. It's hard to explain, like you were saying. It's hard to explain that I'm on such an interesting path that I see no reason to add anything in. I have cravings. There's not cravings, but interests. And like when my kids are eating fruit and stuff. But it's not a craving because I don't have those cravings anymore. It's gone.
No, right. It's like a thought versus a bodily reaction.
Right. Yeah.
No, and I don't know. I remember heartburn.
What's that?
Yeah, right. And I every once in a while
I haven't had a heartburn in a long time. Wow, you just made me think about it.
No, and I've had a few little like twinges on occasion. I'm not sure why. But yeah, for a little over 90 days, 3 months now. Yeah, it doesn't happen. And we talked last week about some of these things, and I was replaying it, and I'm like, we didn't even really do an extensive list. Like, we didn't ever talk about the varicose veins on my legs that went away. We didn't talk about how I don't get the tonsil stones in the back of my throat anymore.
Okay, that should be a separate podcast because I want to sit down and make a list myself, and then you have your list basically just to talk about. I mean, here's the thing. I think a lot of people have these issues, and they don't really realize how, not curable, but how easy it is to get rid of all this stuff.
Right, because it's not, I think the problem is we keep thinking of it as like it needs to be cured. It's like, no, you need to stop generating the problem.
Exactly. That's the key word, generating. We're generating these issues, and we're thinking there's some magic powder or some mushroom mix we could take and make it go away.
So there's an old joke about, the guy goes to the doctor and he goes, "Doctor, it hurts when I touch here, and it hurts when I touch here. It hurts when I touch here." And he's like, "Well, yes,
Stop
you have.
doing it.
No, you have a broken finger."
Oh, stupid.
Right. It's like
it's like the nail in the head. Like, this pressure right here.
Oh, it's all.
Yeah.
My sweaters are snagged.
Yeah, it's like that.
So,
anyways, I think this is it for the Carnivore open mic.
Yeah, just random talking. Thanks for listening to our shenanigans again.
Yeah,
and by the way, if anybody is listening out there in cyber world, you have to let us know if you notice any difference. We got a few new toys. We're not sure if these are going to be the forever toys, but
it's with all the YouTube money we're making, right?
Oh, absolutely. Just raking that.
Anyways, all right.